why artists should paint on unstretched canvas and stretch it on heavy-duty stretchers after you get a check for your painting, after the check clears, as they say. You save a lot of money by not having so many stretched paintings, because you want to paint big, right? Like Andrey. So let's say you can afford unlimited canvas, or a lot of canvas and a lot of paint. I always make sure in my life I have paint and canvas since high school. I don't care if I have food, I don't care about anything. But those things to create, I will give anything to have it secured so I can create. The rest is not important. Where I sleep, who I fuck, it has no meaning to me. So, how would you sell such a difficult product, which is not packaged, not presented properly? It's just a canvas, heavy-duty canvas, right? It needs to be heavy-duty, and it needs to be pre-shrunk, because when you put it on the floor, in acrylic technology, you don't need to use gesso. You can paint with acrylic on canvas because it's not going to saturate the canvas with oil, and the mold is not going to grow, so you're not going to have the same problems you would have with oil technology. If oil gets on the back of the canvas, you're kind of screwed because there's nothing you can do about it. Mold is, you can't kill mold, it's immortal, and everybody knows it. There are some chemicals, something copper dioxide, my cousin recommended, and I got it, but it needs time to see if mold is killed by copper dioxide. So what I'm trying to say, it's easier even to transport 20, 30 paintings in rolls. Here they are. Next video I'm going to be unrolling. I have this lady friend in Switzerland. She buys apartments all over the world. She invests in real estate. She's in software. A little pretty crazy lady. And she loves my art, so she wants to furnish her apartments with many apartments. She rents them Airbnb, it's called, something like that. And she makes money on it, right? In Brazil, in Paris, in London. And she wants to invest in my artwork because she thinks she's very smart with money. She lives on a lake shore, Lake Geneva. Figured $5 million house. She's a single woman, 40-year-old woman. Originally, I wanted to fuck her. Her name is Isabella. But now, after a few years, I don't want to fuck her. But she can buy paintings, right? So, you can put 50 paintings in the trunk of a car if they're rolled up, and bring it 300 miles away to some gallery, even big city, and unroll them on the floor and get $12,000 check, as happened to me. Well, I got $6,000 out of it because gallery keeps half, right? But it's just the convenience. But you need to understand the technology, how to make sure the paintings can be rolled properly is the face out, this way, not this way. You understand? Because if the paint cracks, if it cracks, it's not supposed to crack. The big cracks, like you see big cracks going across, they're not dangerous. What's dangerous are those little tiny cracks you see on especially Leonardo paintings. Because he was fooling around with chemistry of egg tempera and oil. And if your next layer of oil is gonna dry faster than the previous layer of oil, why the fuck am I talking about oil technology? Well, just in case you are doing oil. So all these paintings by Van Gogh are cracked and not falling off because the cracks are bigger than the Leonardo paintings. The cracks of Leonardo paintings are smaller and the most dangerous for an artist painter because they're the kind that will fall off. These little cracks mean that, and Van Gogh cracks and Leonardo cracks, it means the previous surface didn't dry. Oil takes 6 months to dry, 1 year. After 1 year, it becomes hardened, or it might be even soft on the inside of that big booger you left a year ago. So that's oil. And oil is prevalent technology to use for artists because acrylic is called unforgiving. So once you made this brush stroke yesterday, you wake up this morning, you can't wipe it off. Matisse in 1930s, 60-year-old artist, was waking up in the morning and wiping everything he painted yesterday. And he did it for 10 years. And he exceeded himself. Because today, the objective is to paint better than yesterday. So, yesterday is shit no matter what people say. Even if you come to me and tell me this is the greatest painting humanity will ever see, and you're the one created it, and you did it yesterday. I don't care. My life is not about creating shit. My life is about progress. I'm more interested in progressing this painting, progressing Andrey Bogoslowsky in a process of self-discovery, because that's what creative process is. I'm learning about the nature of Krishna, nature of the universe, as I create my artwork, because creative process in many ways reflects creative forces in the universe. Now we know those are quantum decisions. They're not made in this dimension. Now scientists realize when I speak, it's a quantum event. The light that is hitting my eyes behaves like a quantum universe. Sometimes it's waves, sometimes it's a particle. Individual thought in human mind is created by few electrons jumping from another dimension into our dimension and hitting 1,000 places to save energy, not to burn too much glucose in the brain. You understand? Otherwise, there are billions of thoughts and chemical decisions made by the brain how to keep me alive. And it requires a lot of energy, right? Like all the leaders in our country are wasting more money than average Joe. Just wasting, just fucking wasting. I don't want to talk about politics. So you can spend less money by painting on ungessoed surface with acrylics. But the fabric itself needs to be, how should I say it, flexible and durable. So when you find a roll of some kind of fabric, if it's too thin, if it's some cotton piece of shit, cotton deteriorates. I have t-shirts from 30 years ago. Cotton evaporates. Oxygen eats up cotton. But linen is more durable. Oxygen doesn't destroy linen as badly as cotton. And you need to know those differences. This is artificial fabric, but it's 2 layers. It was glued together because it was upholstery for some Broadway show furniture. I had access to unlimited canvas. When they dumped the show on Broadway or off Broadway, my friends, interior decorators who are designing the stage, they say, Andrey, we were throwing away hundreds of yards of heavy duty, fire resistant canvas. Come and pick it up. So I did for 5 or 6 years. And I stock up, literally, with truckloads of stretchers, expensive museum quality, like 1,000 each stretcher to make, with those funny expendable mechanisms in the corner, museum quality, out of red wood. Yeah, $1,000. Try this one out. I can't afford to buy $1,000 stretcher. The whole thing as is costs $600, $800. The wood, the canvas, linen canvas, right? So try to save on everything you can, because ultimately, the most important for you is the feeling of freedom, like not caring how much you're gonna spend today. Blow it away. $1 million, no problemo. You're gonna blow it away. This is the spirit you should have when you are creating. All the resources you have today need to go into this painting. I'm pointing at the floor because I paint on the floor. And I developed this idea of gravity creating my artwork, so I called it gravitationalism. It's a funny term, you know, I'm a linguist of 40 years, it's my passion, hobby, and I create new words, and I think it's funny that I created new direction in art called gravitationalism, because to me it's logical, you know, gravity can create infinite amount of color combinations by the puddle of self-mixing, self-assembly. We know today that life, organic life, self-assembled itself, or even primordial particles, primordial acids and how do they call it? Acids and organic acids, they self-assemble because of the nature of carbon that gets stuck to oxygen, to iron, to everything. So accidentally, complexity grew from individual atoms into molecules. And then those molecules got stuck even together, and we got RNA. So complexity in your art as you paint needs to be controlled by you. In the center, it doesn't have to be complicated and detailed. No, the center, the main piece, can be bold and sort of like a logo marketing for marketing purposes, or it can be half detailed and half let go. And the rest of the painting very let go. But one element which you decided is important, more detailed. So you build up this communication between very detailed element and half detailed element. And everybody will be curious, why is this tension, whereas the rest of the painting is sort of loosely there. Like, this corner is more important than this corner. Of course, every fucking corner in your painting needs to be different. Because when you look at nature, fold your hands like this, and you look anywhere in nature, what you see in this corner is that every corner is different. Color, objects, rhythms, repetitive rhythms. Apparently, universe is made out of vibrations. So by painting with expressing vibration, to express vibration, you need 3 of something, not 2, but 3. And that stands for repetitive pattern, generally speaking. So, save money and paint on unstretched canvas. I hope I convinced you. And only when you have exhibition opportunity. I had many shows with unstretched, with nail into the fucking brick in Soho, ancient building, where they love those brick walls. Bogoslowsky came with a fucking hammer and hang paintings 10 feet by 4 feet. Yeah, the ceiling was 20 feet tall. So people, it looks good. It looks good when you hang something like this loose. People love also to touch artwork. Nobody's allowed to touch artwork in the museum. When they come to my show, I enjoy when people are actually touching the surface of the painting. They feel more spiritually attached, and of course, they will be more inclined to buy if you let them touch it. Women and men love touching paintings. There is no difference. What am I talking about? So you can come to a commercial gallery with 50 of those rolled up paintings in your trunk. Very professional gallery. Some people who sell artwork for $50,000 a piece, and they're interested. They looked at your images and they say, let us see the originals. They don't have time to go visit you. You bring them what you got. It's your decision what you're going to show to the gallery, how you're going to present yourself. So you pick 50 paintings, roll them up. Hopefully you didn't have to take them off the stretchers. If you have them on stretchers, put them on the roof of the car and tie them up real tight. And then when you're driving, your hand needs to check if they're flying off like a sailboat. Woo! It happened to me many times. I was hanging a show with 20 big paintings. I put the paintings on the roof and drove for 5 hours, and it flew off to my roof. Well, one flew off. It didn't hit anybody, thank God. But you need to tie it up really properly if you want to transport on the roof of your car. But it's safer to transport it in a roll, because when you get to this gallery, they know what they're dealing with. This is not a first time they're rolling the painting and shipping it across the world because it's just too big for any shipping company, for instance. You'll have to buy a fucking container. They don't want to spend container money, and they roll it up. And out there in Japan, in Hong Kong, there are people who will stretch it. Stretching a piece like this in a frame shop, perhaps it's overpriced, but art collector will have to spend $500 to stretch a painting this size. You, as a professional artist, will spend $100 to stretch this size. You understand? So I also write on the back of the painting. So when I'm tired, I lie down on the couch or in bed, and I write and I write and I write. And people love it. They think what's here explains what's here. No, it's not. Okay, that's enough.